Okay, so you ask about Splenda and sugar-free and fat-free foods, right? I mean, doesn't it make sense that if we're heavy, you're heavy because you're eating too many calories, that we would do better if we ate foods that were low calorie, correct? Right. So, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever eaten a low calorie food?
Yes.
Okay. Can you think of a name of a low calorie food that you ate recently? Like a low calorie yogurt. Did you have some at all recently?
I did this morning.
Okay, so you had low calorie yogurt?
No, it was low fat yogurt.
Low fat yogurt. Doesn't that make sense? Less fat? Okay, on the side of it or near it, did you see any ads? Anything that said, if you eat this yogurt, studies show you'll lose 2 pounds? Have you ever seen any study like that? Or how about Diet Coke? Diet Coke versus Coke. Which is better for you?
I've always drank Diet Coke, but I know where you're going.
I know you know where I'm going, son. How about this? What if we take 2 groups of mice? Right? 2 groups of mice, and we feed Diet Coke and Coca-Cola to the 2 groups of mice. Who's fatter at the end of 6 months?
The Diet Coke.
Let me ask you another question. Imagine you're the president of Coca-Cola. You just got promoted. The bad news, you have to move from Colorado Springs, but the good news is you're going to have a golden palace at the top of the Coca-Cola building in Atlanta. You got that in your mind? You're the president of Coke? It's your first day, you walk in, bring your wife in, say, But you're going to have to perform now. If you just run the company into the ground, they're not going to keep you as president. So you think for a second, in my opinion, I bet you're going to want to call in the head of Diet Coke. So the president of Diet Coke comes in and says, yes, sir, welcome. Hope you're going to like this and anything I can do for you. And say, just close the door behind you. You call your secretary, and your wife is not happy because a very attractive young woman is your secretary because you're the head of Coke. Watch it. Right? She's a little angry, but you're the head of Coke. Right? So you close the door, you tell your attractive secretary, no phone calls. You look both ways, you say, you're the president of Diet Coke. Yes. Does Diet Coke help anybody lose weight? Do you think you should ask that question? Now, you're the president, you're new, right? Do you think he should know the answer if he was the president of Diet Coke? Shouldn't he know that answer? Okay. So in our minds, let's go through this. We ask him, hey, does Diet Coke help people lose weight? You should know the answer to this. You're the head of Coke, the Diet Coke division, correct? If anybody should know that, you got millions of dollars every day. Right? Okay, he can only answer one of 2 things, correct? It does or it doesn't. Right? Or he could say, I don't know, but you're going to fire him right away if he says he doesn't know. He's just, how can you be in charge of Diet Coke? You don't know nothing. So, could he say yes? Say, yeah, Diet Coke, in our studies, helps women lose about 5 pounds a year. Is there any chance he could say that? Why? Because you would see that everywhere. Can you imagine the Super Bowl commercial? Right? There would be a skinny model, right? Saying, I lost 5 pounds by drinking Diet Coke. Am I right? You would see it everywhere, not just the Super Bowl. It would be pasted on the tires of your car. There'd be people handing it out. There'd be people in signs. If Diet Coke lost even 1 pound, wouldn't we see it everywhere? So he has to answer what he's going to say. You know what he's going to tell him? No. Right? Because if it did, you think that billion-dollar company hasn't said, let's take a couple of students from Emory University here, put them in the basement, give half of them Coke and half Diet Coke. Just for the heck of it. Don't you think we should know that? Do you think they've done that? No question.
Well, they do.
How about Dr. Pepper? There's no question they've done that. Have you seen any ads for any low-fat, non-fat, sugar-free food and said, help you lose 5 pounds at the end of 1 month? You know why? Because it doesn't. If you take mice and feed them non-fat diet stuff, they don't get thinner, they get heavier. What we found, and I don't want to tell you this, I love Diet Coke. In fact, what I would love is to get news over my phone. I have an alert set up so that if Diet Coke is ever found to be healthy, I will get an alert on my phone. And the same thing is true for cigarettes. So I say if that comes through, we all blow off clinic and go have a Diet Coke and a cigarette. I'm ready. But it doesn't help you. And what they found is they think is your body tastes that Diet Coke. And it's your brain says, I notice that I'm getting faked out for about 300 calories. That's what I should be getting in calories. And you're faking me out with this Splenda, with this Equal. No problem. I'll get you on the upside. And so those mice, they finish up, they drank their Diet Coke, and when they get their rat chow, they said, you know, I was down about 300 calories, you owe me. I think I'll eat that 300 plus 50 more. So they actually end up being fatter. So, here's my question. Should you drink diet drinks? No. Okay, so then everybody goes, so we're supposed to use sugar? No. Sugar is also bad. Not only are cigarettes bad for you, but so are cigars. You're going, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, the answer is neither sugar nor diet drinks.
So can you use like fruit juice or fruit to blend it together to give it a little bit of a...
Good question. So what is good for you? And this is really simple. Healthy foods. Okay? So, well, how's a blueberry? Love it. Love blueberries. How's a banana? Love a banana. How is an artificially flavored banana-like substance? No. No. Healthy foods, they are a fruit or a vegetable. That's okay. If you feel driven to drive it into a juicer and turn it into a liquid before you eat it, that's okay. But healthy foods, good. Non-healthy foods, not so good. Fake foods, I wish were good. Okay? How about vitamins? You said you're taking your vitamins, and I used to recommend vitamins. There's research now on vitamins that's also very disappointing. Okay? In other words, low vitamin B12 is bad for you. Taking B12 when you have low B12 is good for you. So what about taking extra B12? Sounds good. I know a lot of people go and get B12 shots. There's recent research that says high doses of extra B12 may actually be harmful. So I'm not driven to take lots of artificial foods. I think the best thing you can do is really simple. Eat a healthy diet. If you want a summary of my advice, there's a book that's available called Food Rules. And it's really simple, kind of basic stuff. It just says eat a healthy diet. Now, I would like for things to be better than that, but right now, really high doses of vitamins, probably not so good for you.
But we still need to get some supplementation to maintain a good nutrient input?
Well, you're referring to the fact that I recommend high doses of vitamins to my patients, and I may be learning from that. It turns out that, yes, you might need a little bit more after the MGB. We guess that 3 extra a day is good, and then you test at 1 year and change that dose based on your results. I think maybe 3 might be too much given the latest research, so I may have to go back and change that.
Are you going to give us a list of things you're supposed to do? Something?
Yeah, it's called the manual. It's right in the manual. And we'll give you a copy of the section in the manual that goes over that in addition when you leave. But it's in the manual.
Right.
That's the discharge instructions. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was one thing I wanted to talk to you about. I just had my labs done. I had them done in my year or 2 years in May, and then I had them done again just so when I talk to you. But like my B12, and I do not take anything B12 separate. I just what's in my multivitamin.
Right.
It's at 1575.
Well, now we used to think that was good. So I would see it on my patients and I go, see, you're great, Dr. Rutledge is great, I did the right thing. There's a recent paper that came out in the Journal of the American Medical Association. They took diabetics who had kidney failure and they gave some high doses of B12, and those who got the B12 compared to the placebo had worse kidney function at the end of the study. So my bias is I would cut back a little bit on your vitamins.
I've got other thing I want to talk to you about afterwards, though. But
Sure.
Just, yeah, because I had heard that too much B12, and then when I saw that number, and it was that way in May, too.
Yeah, we used to think that was good, but we're coming up now that why force it up there when there's some research you don't have to do that. So, yeah.
I gradually decreased mine. I usually just take one multivitamin a day now, but I take extra D and extra iron because those are the only things that have ever been low for me. So that's kind
of our new approach. The whole idea of the 3 multivitamins I thought was good. I don't think it's terrible, but I think the latest research says no. Much more important to focus on a healthy diet. Blueberries are better than a multivitamin.
The whole food.
Now, I noticed that that iron that I got over the internet that you recommended, sometimes it can make you a little constipated. What do you recommend?
For constipation, what we used to...
Use that.
Right, in the olden days, what we used to use for constipation was castor oil or mineral oil, okay? But those are now, shouldn't be used because they're so dangerous. But the idea of lubricating the system by putting some oil in there still works. We can get oil into you by taking fish oil and preventing it from being digested by taking an Ally capsule. So you know in the grocery store they have that weight loss tablet called Ally? Okay, if you take a fish oil or two with an ally or two, you will keep oil in the gut, and that will tend to fix your constipation. You have to be careful though; it can fix it pretty subtly and powerfully. So you want to kind of sneak up on it.
Okay, right.
Going back to yogurt.
Yes.
Is it okay to put a little bit of honey?
We like honey. Again, we think a lot of fructose, which is what's in honey, is really dangerous. In America, we found out we can get fructose from corn in what's called high fructose corn syrup. And there's research on mice. If you give them a lot of high fructose corn syrup, they get obese, diabetic, and kidney failure, and high blood pressure. They have to add fructose to the diet until they're getting 30% of their diet is in fructose. Sounds high, doesn't it? The average American gets 20%. In other words, our diet, unbeknownst to me, I don't know if you know this, but there's so much high fructose corn syrup in so many products nowadays that our diet is, on average, 20% high fructose corn syrup. I couldn't believe it. And if you go to 30%, all the mice get obese and diabetic. So high fructose corn syrup has got a bad rep. Okay? So honey is fructose. So if you're going to use it, again, you want to be using it in moderation, if at all. If you have to sweeten your food to make you want to eat more of it, think about not sweetening it and eating less of it. Okay? Because there's no question, if you sweeten something, we will eat more of it. That's the deal. If we sweeten something, you'll eat more of it. So if you say to me, I don't want to eat this yogurt and these blueberries, it's not sweet enough, I'd say, great, eat less. Hi, ladies. You guys have been awful quiet. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Say howdy.
How do you do? Maureen.
Hey.
I live locally.
Hey.
I just came to
Just kind of hang
get
out.
a little information.
Good. All right.
hang out
Good.
a bit.
Who's here with you?
It's my mom, Lucille,
Hey, Mama.
and my sister, Gloria.
Hey, sis. You guys have any questions? You're going to be the silent majority, or
No, I'm just listening.
okay? No questions today. All right. Good. Good.
Yeah.
All right. And are we entertaining enough for you today?
Yes.
All right. Good. Stay all week. Try the veal. I'm here all week.
Okay, good.
All right. From Canada, do you want to say hi and introduce your person who's with you? And
That's my wife, Jackie.
hey, my wife Jackie. Where in Canada?
Edmonton. Edmonton.
Edmonton. All right. Okay. So, do you guys get winter there?
Last December, we were colder than Siberia.
So, what do you say about global warming?